What I'm going to do is share with you what I think some things that you should consider when you're looking at machine quilting rulers. So here I have just a sampling of my ruler collection. I know I have a little bit of a problem when it comes to buying rulers and templates, but these are the things I think you should look into when choosing. So first thing, when I'm looking for a ruler, I'm looking for something that is versatile. I want a ruler that can be used more in one way. So for instance, if I'm going to go with one ruler, I'm going to look for something like this that has some different options. So this particular ruler can do a curve and some straight lines, which is really nice. Or even a wave ruler that has two different waves on either side. So I'm looking for a thicker ruler. Basically, a 1/4 inch thick ruler is going to prevent it from sliding underneath my free motion quilting foot when working. I know that there are thinner rulers on the market that are made specifically for machine quilting, and that's absolutely fine. Again, I'm just sharing with you what works for me. I'm also looking for rulers that have a lot of markings. When you're quilting on a quilt, those markings are going to allow your ruler work to stay consistent with the quilt, which is really important. So I'm looking for markings that are going to help me get the best placement on my quilt. So for instance, this ruler has horizontal lines and some diagonals, which are great. I'm also looking for ones that will help me align up. Even if it's a curved ruler, these straight lines are going to help me keep it even as well. So another one I like is over here. I have the horizontal and the vertical lines, but you can also see along here is an echo line. So if I want to quilt this curve and have consistently spaced echoes, that's going to help make it possible. So looking for those markings is really going to help you get the more consistent quilting, which is very important. Another thing you want to consider is the size of the ruler. If you're newer to quilting with rulers, consider getting a ruler that's about hand-sized. What that's going to allow you to do is have more points of contact on the ruler and give you a little bit more control. Once you get comfortable with those, then you can kind of start branching out and working with the longer rulers, which are really going to help you kind of approximate where you're going. So there's no one perfect size for everybody, but if you're newer, kind of aim towards the smaller size rulers, at least in the beginning. And another optional thing to think about is you might want to consider getting a grip for the back of the ruler. Now, some rulers will already have the grip on it, like this ruler does. What that grip does is it allows that ruler to kind of stick or stay in place, because the biggest problem you're going to have when quilting with rulers is not necessarily quilting along them, it's to keep those things from slipping around. If you have a ruler that doesn't have grip, you can buy optional grip for the back. And this is almost like an adhesive sandpaper, and it really helps that ruler stay nice in place. And it comes separately. So here's a strip of that adhesive grip that you can put on the back, and you can tell it comes in nice big chunks, so you can decide what size you want to use. And maybe at the beginning, aim for bigger chunks because it's going to help it from sliding around. So let's pretend I want to put adhesive on this wavy ruler here, and that's actually very helpful for these kind of curves. I can trim it to the size I want it to be, and you might feel tempted just to cover this whole thing, but you probably don't have to do that. What I just do is I'm just going to trim it in little pieces and adhere it to it. When you're putting it on your ruler though, think about where you're going to be quilting along. So for instance, I'm going to kind of put it more towards the edge since that's where I'm going to be working at. And this back just kind of peels right off and you stick it in place. So this will be a nice option for those of you that are worried about your ruler slipping around, or if you get into the longer rulers, that's definitely going to be helpful as well. So you kind of stick it on there, and then just like that, you have a ruler that hopefully won't slide around on you. And even within one shape of ruler, you have a ton of different options. For instance, look at all these straight rulers that I have here. And really it's a personal preference. So maybe somebody that likes this ruler for the straight edge also wants to do circles with it. It makes it a little bit easier, more versatile to have it together in one ruler. This longer straight edge ruler might be great for somebody that is working on a quilt with bigger blocks and wants to see where they're heading with their quilting. Now, a smaller ruler is nicer if you have a machine that doesn't have a large throat. Maybe your machine only has a little space over here. That's going to make it easier to fit the ruler in that area. This ruler might be great for somebody that wants the markings in black and white so they can really see them on any fabric. It also has a curved end to make it a little bit more versatile. And over here we have the scallop ruler, which does a fun scallop on one side, but it also has these fun needle stops on the other side. And this might be great for somebody that is worried that their line is going to go past a certain point, for instance, the edge of the block or something like that. Now, ultimately, how do you know which ruler is for you? Well, easy. You just pick one out and you try it. It's kind of like, how do you know if you like Brussels sprouts, right? Try it and you'll quickly know whether it works for you or not.